Welcome to this week's Off the Court. Before we get into the show, there was a big announcement with the retirement of Geva Mentor, and I got to talk to her just a little bit earlier.
Geva Mentor joining us here announced her retirement this week. 24 years in the professional game, 175 caps for England netball. And before you tell me age, just why now, Jeeves?
Oh, I know. Some people are saying, why don't you go an extra year? It makes it nice and round with 25 years and a quarter of a century. But you know what? I am very ready. At the beginning of the year, I wasn't sure. And I think if you were to ask me last year, I definitely would have had that. Am I ready yet? Can I go one more year? Whereas this year, I feel very content in my decision. Body feels great. So it's got nothing to do with that. It's probably more just the mind and wanting to move on to that next chapter and what life has to offer me. And I feel like the age I'm at, I'm still at an opportunity that I can go out and really kind of enjoy life still rather than be sort of convened to, I don't know, hobbling around because my knees and ankles are shot from the netball court.
Well, listen, you spent 13 years over in Australia and in the SSN, firstly the ANZ that changed. Played for 4 different clubs over there, but we finally got you back and we got you back to Leeds Rhinos. How sort of sweet of a journey is it to come full circle and to finish it here in the UK?
Yeah, it really is. And I think even the time that I was away, I really felt the love and the community from the English, the UK support and crowd and netball community. And so to be able to come back here was quite humbling. To be able to go to a new club. I mean, I went the furthest place away from Bournemouth, but the Yorkshire folk have been so welcoming. And I think that's been really nice to kind of have that connection. And it's something that I've always sort of wanted to do is come back and reconnect. And for me, I think it made sense. I mean, not many athletes get the luxury to sort of choose when they're ending and have that sort of landscape. I mean, you think of Commonwealth Games, Olympic athletes, they finish on a high and then they retire, and then it's just this sort of big emptiness. Whereas I feel like retiring internationally a couple of years ago, winding down from SSN to NSL, obviously NSL is looking at building up and improving, but there's still a gap at the moment that's very real. And so for me, it made sense just to kind of wind myself down, still be able to give and input, and just be ready to kind of eventually call it time, which I feel very content with that decision now.
Just the casual 6 Commonwealth Games for England, which is an impressive feat in itself. But what was the biggest Roses highlight? Because you've been and seen and done it all.
Yeah, actually, quite funny. I went to a Team England event as alumni, looking to get together the legends of Team England and just making sure there's that connection there just last night. And it was nice being able to talk to many athletes across the different games and their different experience. But for us, you can't go past 2018 and the Gold Coast and being able to bring home gold for our sport. And I think for me, it was a big change, not just for us personally and as a Roses side, but for netball generally around the world to see that sort of world order shift, to see the impact that it had on young girls and women, particularly back in the UK, and then to follow that up with a World Cup the year after in Liverpool. I think we just sort of rode off that momentum. And for me, that means it's bigger than yourself and it's bigger than your accomplishments. It's really changing that landscape. And I think we've been able to propel netball in particular in our country, which is great. So yeah, I mean, they've all been special. I've shared the court, I've roomed with many amazing athletes in the Roses fit, but I think yeah, you can't go past something that's bigger than you and creating that change.
So what next for England netball then? We spoke to Ebony Brown last week. Defence win your championships. You know that better than anyone else. And selfishly, you've left this huge hole in that goalkeeper position for playing for so many years. So, you've seen the new Roses squad. We're a year out from the next Commonwealth Games. What does that look like for the Roses?
Yeah, I know. You think you're doing a good thing by sticking around and having an impact on court, and then you don't realise that actually leaving a bit of a hole there. But we've got some exciting defenders coming up through. I think the bib is there for someone to grab. There's some fantastic defenders in the Super League at the moment. The consistency will be the main thing. I mean, for me, I do like height, of course. I like the fact of Jazz Brown coming through from that tennis background, and I think if you can get her maybe under yourself and Sonia and Jess as well, and just really developing her court craft, then I think she could be one to watch, and definitely that versatility that we need with the height in the back. But I mean, Razzie and Hallie have had a really consistent season as well. I've played a lot more with Hallie, but I think just having that variety. I mean, at the end of the day, and I know you and Ebony spoke about it, like we've got Fran and Fumi that are fantastic in any position, defensive bib, but I think we really need them in the majority of the court and being able to play in 2/3. So whether that's across a wing defence, goal defence bib. So we need to find that someone at goalkeeper. Whether there's someone out in the woodwork that we haven't come across yet, I don't know. But I think to have that option of someone who's got the hops and who's agile, but then someone who's got the height as well, because these shooters on the international scene from other nations are big and they're strong, and you're going to need more than just your hops and craft.
I'll take you back quickly then to when the shooters were shorter. To 2004 in Blackpool, we played in about front of 50 people, Geva, and you won your first ever silverware for Team Bath. The game has changed. If you were doing it all again, or you were giving advice to a younger athlete coming through, what would it be?
Oh, you know what? Everyone has an opinion and everyone has input, and most are valid. And I think it's just being able to dilute that information that comes through and what works for you, because everyone's going to want to help you on your journey. So take on board what you can. Don't take it all at once. Keep chipping away, and just know that you're going to perfect and improve your game one step at a time. It's not all going to come at once. And I think as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, I'm a big believer in that, then you're going to keep having a crack. And when those tough times and challenges comes, you're going to be able to pick yourself up and give it another crack.
Well, listen, Geva, congratulations on an incredible career. I'm going to say this: we're saying goodbye to the best player that's ever pulled on an England Roses dress. Congratulations.
Thanks, TT. Appreciate that.
So on off the court this week, in the studio with me, I have Beth Brittain and Callum Brittain. The first time we've had a couple on the show, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty honoured with that, are you?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
No, you're very welcome. This is the first time you've done a pod together as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, you've just said.
A little bit nervous.
Not sure how that's going to go, actually.
Not sure. I think this could be the start of something big. I reckon, Peter Crouch, Abby Clancy, that kind of thing.
Or kind of maybe the end.
Yeah,
no, joking.
I think they're a bit cooler than us, but
yeah,
we'll give it a go.
I don't know about
Peter
that.
Crouch is actually funny and Callum's not, so it's kind of...
Right, there's the first dig. Right, okay.
I was going to say, we should keep a running tally of this.
Yeah.
Well, listen, we've just heard from Geva Mentor, and she's been at the club this year with you, Beth, at Leeds Rhinos. First big question then, is she the greatest player ever to have pulled on an England Roses dress?
I think there's only one answer, and it's yes. Yeah, I think just like probably seeing, obviously, her career, watching her career growing up, watching England growing up, she was obviously incredible. And I think it completely changes how you see someone when you know them on a personal level. And I think it's only increased and made me think even more so that she's just one of the best of all time, because she's such a great person off the court as well, and just been so invaluable to have her in this team this season. So yeah, she's great.
Geva's played in so many different clubs. Her career spanned 24 years, and I've still never had someone say a bad word about her. I've played with her for years. I've known her since she was 16. Talk to me about that impact off the court then, because you've had a big role at Leeds Rhinos being the captain, and then you've got someone like Geva Mentor there as well. How has that helped, or sort of how have you been able to go for advice with her as well?
Yeah, I think to be honest, she's been my soundboard this season, and it's been really great to help me sort of push into a leadership role. I've been vice captain at other clubs. I was co-captain at Sirens, but it's the first year I've sort of had that role on my own, so it has been a step up for me, and I have struggled. I can't lie about that. So yeah, having her to just touch base with, have a bit of advice from, I think probably just to bounce ideas around as well. Like you say, she's been in so many environments and so many teams. It's been so helpful.
That kind of advice, that sounding board, is really important. And obviously we've got you two here together as a couple. And I know over the years we've always talked about, is it best to date someone within sport because then they know everything about it, but also there's challenges that come with that. Callum, you play at Blackburn Rovers. You've had an incredible season this season, just missed out on playoffs. I heard you talking in one of your interviews about it being your best year yet at the club. But it's almost chalk and cheese to what Beth has experienced. How A, has your season gone, and B, how have you managed to support each other through that as well?
Yeah, my season's gone great, to be honest. As a team, we really started well. We hit a bit of a block mid-season and then finished really well. In terms of numbers and stuff like that, for myself, it's been one of my best years, and I feel like I've sort of grown into my body, played a number of seasons at Championship, so I really know the league now, and I had really good managers this year as well, so I can't thank them enough as well. But in terms of us dealing with it, it's sort of, I don't know, you sort of know when to leave each other alone, you sort of know when you can say something. I feel like it's better when you have someone that sort of understands and knows the emotions that goes into sport, as well as sort of giving advice when you want to or when you need it.
Do you both talk about it over dinner, or is it like a no dinner policy? Like, is there a rant and a rave? Is there a time limit you're allowed to have?
It depends how the game's gone. No. To be honest, we all like call each other after every game if we're not at the game, sort of thing, and do a bit of a debrief. And I love the fact that you completely like understand and know netball, and I'm pretty queued up on football and really enjoy watching him play and stuff. So it is kind of nice that we understand each other. But like you say, sometimes it's the other side of it. I think even it's been a tough season for Leeds, but you probably give the tough advice as well. You know, sometimes when you're in a environment that don't really understand professional sport, it can kind of be like, oh, don't worry, it's all right. Whereas I probably get the, no, that wasn't good enough, you need to do better next week, which, you know, it can be tough in the moment, but I think it's really helpful, isn't it? It's that honest and open conversation. And he said last night he wanted to come down to the court and tell me off after my first 5 minutes. He said he was furious. So yeah, it is nice to have that honesty as well, and it kind of pushes you on.
Are you both poor losers? Like, you're mopey. I used to mope around for days. I've got better since I've had kids, actually, because they do not care, by the way. FYI, just for the future, if that's the thing. They don't care, and you're not allowed to mope around when you've lost. Even Casey told me the other day, he had his first sports day, and he went, I went, mate, we've made it into top 4. And he went, Mummy, remember, it's okay if you can only come second.
Who told him that?
Well, exactly. His dad, probably. His dad.
Not you.
So what are you two like? Is it...
I think we're quite a bit different. I'm very much short-term anger and sort of mopiness after the game. I'll take it out there and then in the stadium, and then maybe the car journey home I'm a little bit annoyed, but as soon as I get home I can put it behind me, sort of thing. Whereas you're very much a couple of days.
With you, Beth?
Yeah, she's
couple of days.
She thinks about it a lot. She'll be the first to sort of look at her clips and sort of see where she
in
can
bed
do
the same
better.
night, like watching the game,
Yeah.
like, why have I done that? He's like, go to sleep.
Depends
what are
which
you
can-
doing?
Yeah, it depends which you can deal with better. Like, I prefer to put it behind me. I sort of know where I can improve or what I've done well that game, whereas you like sort of analysing it a bit, don't you? So yeah, it's different, but I suppose it's good that we're different in that way. We wouldn't both be on our phones at night, would we?
And one of you can get some sleep.
Yeah.
One of you can get with the dog the next day. One of you can do the breakfast. You've named my favourite word, which is analysing. I want to know the difference in pro football to, you'll have seen what Beth gets given, the packages she uses, Huddle, how that's broken down. I mean, how far advanced in football are we?
I would say, I don't know, because I obviously see what you do in terms of individual clips and stuff like that. I've not seen you in a team sort of environment. But I would say that we analyse our games probably Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, Friday we'll go on sort of what our plan is for the Saturday. And then you'll get pulled on individual clips where you can improve, etc., etc. But it's very much in terms of what you like as well in football. I think when you sort of go into a club, I'm very much like, I don't like doing too much. Obviously I will do a lot in terms of team and how we prepare for the next game, but in terms of like, what does the left winger play like, I'd rather just work him out on the pitch rather than do a lot in, because you could watch a clip and go, oh, he does this all the time, and then when it comes to the game he'll do the complete opposite and you're like, oh, I didn't see that one coming, sort of thing. So I like working it out on the day, but I don't know.
I think the main difference that I notice is that I bring obviously a lot of PA Huddle clips home, and obviously you never do that. You would never be at home.
Yeah.
But I think obviously that's the difference in, you can go into a club and you'll do that in your day's work, whereas we don't really have the time or the hours while people are still managing, you know, like full-time jobs and stuff. So yeah, probably just the difference in me having to bring it home, whereas he probably can shut off at home because they've done it all in the time that they're there.
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree with that, actually, because even hearing you talk, like we do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or whatever, we have like one slot to get that done, and you can't bring the players in all the time.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. So you've got the actual games that you play, you've got how you work it at home. win, lose, or anything in between. There's also bigger decisions, right, around clubs that you play for. So you've both been lucky enough that you're up north, so you're at least in the right direction of where your clubs are going to be. But how big a decision is that? Do you make together, or is it very much, these are our careers at the minute, we won't do this forever?
I think probably when I was a bit younger, I mean, that first season I signed for Sirens, we were both still living in Bedford, and you were still playing at Dons when I first signed for Sirens. So it was sort of a do what you like it's your own career type thing. You've got to go after what you want to go after. But I think probably, well, definitely now, as we've gotten older, it's definitely become a conversation between us both of, you know, what we're willing to sacrifice on. But I mean, again, probably with the difference in professionalisation, it usually is me that would have to compromise on that. I don't think you really have the...
Well, you have to make the choice first. That's the hardest part, isn't it?
Yeah, our seasons don't really align, do they?
So June's probably the worst month for us because we probably get, a week max together to go away, and then you have to make a decision, whereas, so your sort of window is so small compared to mine. Mine doesn't end till September, so anything could happen.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like we have to sit down, sort of have a conversation. We tried the living away, didn't we? Didn't really work out. So we've got lucky a couple times now, I think. And we've tried it once where you moved away. So yeah, it's about luck. It's about sort of having an honest conversation with each other and just sort of
what you're
willing to sacrifice in what area, sort of thing. So
yeah.
Changes with age as well?
I think so.
100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. I'm quite old now in netball.
Oh,
I
shut
feel
up.
it.
This is so
Have a day
impressive.
off.
You lot, I'm not right. Just to any of the producers listening, we're not bringing in any more guests because they all sit here and moan about how old they are, and they're talking to me, who's ancient. But anyway, Beth, yes, carry on.
No, I'm feeling it this year. Like, Leeds is obviously a very youthful. I think a lot of the teams I was talking earlier, like obviously the sport's getting so many young players coming through, which is obviously incredible for the sport. But yeah, I am feeling like I'm at the latter end of the.
I'm not having this. Can I?
Honestly.
Give over.
You're a long time not playing, so don't even think about that. There's the second part of this, and I'm going to do a petition for all older players here, because I say this all the time, in netball particularly, because there's such small squads, we hype up about the next young kid coming through. And I'm a Leicester supporter. There was like a 15-year-old playing the other week, which I'm presuming they wanted to do to keep him and whatever. But we both know if he's any good, he'll get poached to somewhere else. But the experience matters, right? You must have found that this year. Geva's not been around at the club a lot because of her overseas coming back into play. You've had a young coach, Lauren, who I really rate, is brilliant, but she's young and inexperienced in that format. And you've got a young crowd around you as well. So that must have been difficult for you.
Yeah, it has been really tough. Like, I think just trying to balance with a load of different like experience levels. Like you say, we've got players that have never even had a contract before, it's their first year. Players like Cassie, young up and coming, she's incredible, but she's only had 1 year playing previously, but she's probably one of our best players, if not the best player on court. You've got Geva and Joyce, who have got amazing international experience. So yeah, there is a real contrast between them and between everyone on court, and I think it's trying to bring that all together, which probably hasn't gone the best this year, which is difficult.
It matters. Having that experience matters. Callum, you were talking about it in terms of it being the shift in your club for this season.
Yeah, 100%. So we've, this season compared to the season before, we had a really young squad, and I think there was sort of games where we really struggled in confidence and we sort of dipped in form, whereas last year we brought in, I'd say, 3 or 4 very experienced pros, and I think the manager can only do a certain amount. You spend, especially in football, you spend so much time with these boys in the changing room. Like, you go on nights out, you go on dinners with these guys, like, you spend so much time with them. You're going to learn the culture, the sort of experiences they've shared, and sort of the day-to-day sort of professionalism in terms of what they do before training, what they do after training. So yeah, it definitely makes a big difference, especially in football, I would say.
It's learned behaviours as well, isn't it? And also just knowing what to say in the right moments. Yeah,
100%. It is literally creating a culture. When you're young, who do you learn off? I suppose you learn from the gaffer, but that's more sort of tactics and everything like that. How to become a better human, how to work in certain ways. You learn from the older players, so I think it's sort of invaluable.
We were talking earlier, Beth, about Amy Hepworth-Wain, because you've played with her. And when I spoke to Amy about coming in, I said, I want you to help us make finals. And we stood in our session last week, and I sort of said in front of the group, Amy, how many times have you not been in finals? And I think she named one season in her sort of 11-year career. And I'm like,
so good.
But that matters, right? It absolutely matters, knowing how to play and knowing what to do in those key moments.
Yeah, and it is, like you just said, like there's only so much a coach can do, and I feel like then it's getting to doing it on court and actually being in those moments. And like you say, unless you've done it 11 times like Amy has, and you know exactly what to do and how to behave, and you have that confidence in the moment that you know it's going to be okay because I've done it 4 or 5 times, whereas, you know, in an inexperienced group, you don't have that confidence, and you haven't learned that yet. And like you say, there's only so much you can take from a coach before actually you have to put it out on court. So yeah, definitely is invaluable.
Well, changing tact a little bit, you mentioned all your nights out and your craziness with the lads, and yet we never see it on Instagram, Callum, and yet Beth's is a bit more lifestyle-y. I mean, you're such a cool couple. Honestly, I watched and I'm like, oh, that looks really good. That looks cool. I actually got in touch with you when I was going to Dubai, going, tell me where to go and eat. I mean,
we love Dubai.
You do love Dubai. But that kind of social media piece as well, it's quite interesting because yours is very heavily football focused, where Beth, you probably branch out a little bit more.
Yeah, I think it's sort of, I don't know, there's a lot of fans, there's a lot of people that get involved in sort of social media and stuff like that, so I like to keep sort of some things private. I think what a lot of people care most about on my social media is football anyway, so sort of posting for the fans, sort of you're with the club anyway, so yeah, posting for that as well, and then I like to keep certain things private, whereas if you're a fan of Blackburn anyway, you can go onto Beth's Instagram and see what I'm doing here, so it doesn't really matter.
If you're a fan of anything, really, you follow Beth's. So we all live through Beth. But it's different, right, in terms of the football fan is always going to criticise. So it's almost like you can't have a life, right? If you lose, no one wants to see you out partying. You're supposed to be at home moping around like this one, watching 27,000 clips of analysis. But Beth, for you, the netball fan isn't necessarily like that, right? They almost want to see all the other bits.
Yeah, I think probably as netball's growing, people want to see that other side and that off the court. Pardon the pun.
I love it. Come again.
They do want to see that like the person behind the athlete a bit more as it's growing, and the personalities. And I think, you know, like the documentaries, like the Drives to Survive and stuff, like how much that's grown the sport just because of the documentary behind it. Like I could name you F1 drivers and like follow it because I now really enjoyed watching their behind the scenes thing. So I think that's actually really good for netball to try and push it in the right direction and take it a bit further. But I have noticed a bit of a difference in like comments on socials and stuff this year, but I think that's just going to come as the game grows and becomes more professional.
The good, the bad and the ugly. You kind of need it to be professional, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, listen, we've had loads of questions in as well. More for Callum, which I find there you go with the football fan. But we'll go through them. I'll pick out some of the best. I have to ask this one, which I didn't get to start off with. But Callum, what do you think of Burnley?
I can't actually say the word I'm meant to say for that one.
Oh no, don't, because this can't air otherwise.
I can't say the word, but I think a lot of Blackburn fans will know what I would have said. Fun story about Burnley actually. When you come. Andy Vyman scored an unbelievable goal.
Unbelievable.
Beth was front row and absolutely got clattered by all the fans.
I loved it, home and away. Great game.
Where was your core strength though? That's what I was going to ask. Get in the gym. What's your favourite thing about Blackburn?
There's a few. What's my favourite? I would say the changing room. The boys in the changing room. Grew really close with a lot of them, and we sort of had a really good culture this year. I think that's what showed on the pitch, so I'd say that. Is
that down to the manager? Because I've got here who's the best manager you've worked under? You probably have to stay him, right?
Well, we've had 2 managers this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you prefer the second one?
Well, I've had the second one before, and
okay.
The first one I had a really good relationship with, so
that's tough, right?
I couldn't pick between them two.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'll go with them.
He likes you both. Okay, so who is the most competitive then, and who would want to win in a board game?
Oh, board game's different.
Oh, yeah.
I would say competitive, you. Board game, me.
Yeah, you love a board game.
Love
What's
a
your
board
favourite
game.
board game?
Anything.
No, he loves a bit weird.
Christmas favourite time. Just get them all out.
I love this. We'll check it out on Beth's social.
Yeah.
Who can drive best?
You.
I think me.
You're the driver.
I think so.
Designated driver.
Yeah, you don't like driving, whereas
not
I've
really.
had to. I drove up to Scotland for 4 years, so
Yeah.
How much time do you both get to actually spend together? You were saying now he's in pre-season. None, because he's just going off on holiday all the time. What's all that about?
Yeah, our off seasons completely clash, which is really rubbish. So you're in off season now, which is how I've got you down to do the pod. So yeah, we get about a week if we're lucky. But just to let you know, I would have taken top 4 over having a week with you, sorry. But it hasn't worked out, so I guess I'll have a week away with you.
Lucky you, Callum. Lucky you. Right, I can name this one from Geva. We did hear that Geva Mentor had sent some questions in. I did have to proofread them before, but they are fine. So you've got a beautiful dog. Who has to pick up the when you go out on the walks?
50-50 share?
Yeah, I think we're pretty 50-50.
Whoever spots it first and runs off,
Yeah.
everyone picks it up.
Fine. And who would win in a 5:05 agility test?
I think
what's a
I've got you on
5:05?
change of direction, you know.
Change of direction.
But he's so quick. Like your
I've heard you're rapid down the
your-
wing.
yeah.
Pretty quick.
Your
Not-
5k and like straight line sprint is ridiculous. You're
Please
like,
tell me you do races at home. Please tell
Just
me there's some
random
competition. Yeah,
races.
it's like, come on, out to the garden. Let's go.
No, we do round the island in the kitchen.
If it was a straight line, I'd beat her.
yeah, easy.
any
but
sort of
change
distance,
the direction. I
change
reckon
the
I might
direction.
have you.
I don't think you would, but we'll give it a go.
Shock.
Outside the studio?
We're
We'll
going
test
to do
it.
that. We'll bring you that update
Behind
next week
scenes.
and off the court. You'll have to tune in to see who gets there. Okay, final ones from me then. Do you enjoy watching each other? You said you enjoy watching play.
Yeah, I
Do you
like
enjoy the netball?
Yeah, I get right into it, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I come when I can. Obviously, they clash a lot. But I'll watch at home and stuff like that. I'll be texting you all the updates and that, don't I?
You get it on the coach on the way
Yeah,
back from games.
I've had it on a few of the coach trips as well when
You
we've
make them
travelled.
all watch?
Yeah, all of them. Yeah,
I love it.
got them right
great.
involved.
Spreading the love. I love it. So go on then. Who's going to win? Who's winning? Are you in agreement with who's going to win this year?
We had a little conversation the other day.
I love this. Little netball chat.
No, you're really good at knowledge. Even you know, Raz came off the other day and you're gutted about that, and I said, "Oh, I'm gutted for Raz," and he went, "Mav's goalkeeper," and I went, "Yeah, yes, exactly who it is. He loves it."
Nice.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Pulse.
He's going to be Paul.
I think
you
it
agree?
I agree. Yeah.
You agree? Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. Well,
Sorry.
I mean, it's not a bad shout. I've been saying it all season. They are the team to beat. So,
Yeah, I
having
think so.
having spent some time in Friday night in Loughborough, we won't talk too much about the games this weekend, Beth. Yours or mine, in fact.
Leave them there.
But yeah, Loughborough not looking too shady either. So I think it's going to be a good finals. With that in mind, we are right near to the finals. So we have the final round of the Netball Super League before we head into the semi-finals. First up, it is Mavericks versus Manchester Thunder. Then we have Panthers, Lightning, Dragons and Pulse. And the final round of the game, Forest versus Rhinos. So it's now all to play for. The top 4 have been named. And it's going to be a big end to the season. Listen, you two, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been really insightful. Are we still happy? We still think we can do a
I think we're
podcast?
still friends.
Yeah, we've done all right, haven't we?
We're all right. Yeah,
We've still
we
got another
survived.
show to get to, so we'll see. But thanks so much. Good luck with the remaining games, and obviously good luck moving forward to next season.
Thank you.
Thank you.